What's up, guys? It's TechnoViking23 coming to you today with another Raid Shadow Legends video. And in today's video, we're actually going to be talking a little bit about the upcoming Fusion event and also how you can take advantage of these events if you are a low spend or free to play player in Raid Shadow Legends. I usually tend to tailor my content more toward the low spend and free to play crowds. That's kind of what we're going to talk about today. And you guys have been watching my videos, you kind of know when these fusions come around. On my free-to-play account, they're not normally something that I usually pursue. Just because if you are more of a casual player, if you are someone that's not going in hardcore, min-maxing your resources, saving up all your resources just for these fusion events, it's going to be very difficult for you to actually complete the fusions. And there's nothing worse than trying really hard to get them and then coming up like 10 fragments short. You miss out on the fusion and you spent all your resources, and guess what? You didn't progress your account at all. You didn't get anything in the end, and it just feels kind of bad, honestly. So what I was going to talk about today is actually how you can use these events. Instead of going for the fusion, you actually will just do the event and try to do whatever you can in order to get more resources to help your account. There's actually something going on right now. There's kind of a fusion warm-up event they have going on. That you can kind of do that a little bit already this weekend. The other thing too is, like, we're going to talk a little bit about tournaments that go on during these fusion events, tournaments in general, how you can kind of manipulate those and play those to your advantage to try to get the relentless sets and also to get more resources that you can use to progress your account. First here, we're going to kind of sit through this clan boss key really quick, see how this team does. Like I said, I've been working real hard on the clan boss team on the free-to-play account here, bringing Aina into the fold. I actually did hit a 10 million key on Brutal earlier today, which was pretty cool. It does not look like we're going to do it here. This is looking more like probably about a 7 or 7.5 million key, depending on how long Mountain King will survive. But still not too bad. We're still 3 key in Brutal now. We're up to doing a lot better on that, so trying to build up some more champions so we can eventually make that move to Nightmare, but that's going to do it. 7.7, not too bad, and you can see here today we did do 20, almost 26 million, so we're going to easily get that top chest on Brutal, so doing a lot better there through that. But let's go ahead and jump back out here to the main page, and again, I don't know, let's see if it's on the news here. Let's see. It doesn't look like it. So we know there is a new fusion coming up for the new faction, which the name of, I think Shadowkin is the name of it, which is going to be like the Eastern Asian influenced sort of anime ninja type looking champions. But there's going to be a fusion for the legendary champion next week, very similar to how they've done the fusions for like Drogul and Elgato, and you'll be able to earn those fusion shards by doing the tournaments and whatnot. And Bergoth is actually a good example of this. We actually tried to get him on this account. He was not one of the harder fusions with the fragments, but we wasted a lot of resources, and then in the end we came up short. I think we got 80 out of 100 shards during the event. I picked up 5 more during anniversary, but it was kind of a giant waste of time, a waste of energy that we could have used to progress the account in other areas. So let's look at events here. As I said, right now there is a fusion warm-up event that's going on for the next couple of days here. So you can see here, you can actually win some pretty cool stuff here. So you get the silver, you get some energy, which is the most important. Today we're working through, we got 68 out of 120 possible points today. So we are able to collect this silver, which is nice. Silver is always good on a free-to-play account. We need silver for just about everything. We'll grab this 200 energy, that's also very nice. And you can see down here in the bottom row, we can eventually get a 3-star chicken, some gems, a rare book, and then 2 shards. So for a free-to-play account, something like this is really cool. Allows you to pick up some resources. What they kind of want you to do is save this energy to use in the fusion event, but like I said, we're going to take advantage of that instead and actually use it to progress our account. Anytime we get that extra energy, we don't have an XP boost up right now, so what we're going to do is when we claim that 200 energy later, we're going to go here into the dungeons, and we're going to run Minotaur for our clan boss team, or we're going to go into the Dragon's Lair and farm for gear, or we're going to go into the Spider and farm for accessories. But we're not going to save that energy. We're going to use that to actually gain some items that we can sell for silver or use to build up our current roster of champions in order to progress our account. It's kind of the same thing on these tournaments. Now you can push at these tournaments, but you kind of have to be smart about it. And one of the things is there's an Ice Golem tournament going on right now. And again, you can earn some different rewards in these. These are going to come up during the Fusion events as well, so you kind of have to keep an eye on whether or not you want to push. But one thing to check is always like how the top teams are doing and then what the reward stacks are here. Like for this one, if we finish in the top 4, we actually could get a Relentless set, which is actually very important to get on a free-to-play account. There's also an Ancient Shard up for grabs. And even if you finish in the top 10, energy is great. Gems are always great on a free-to-play account. So you can see here, we barely run any Ice Golem, and we're already in 9th place. The two tournaments to really keep an eye out for during these events are going to be Ice Golem and Fire Knight, because no one likes running those dungeons. They're the least favorite dungeons in the community. And you can see here, with 33 points, we're in the top 10 already. And I plan on pushing this dungeon with all the energy we're going to get today. We're going to get that 200 energy I'm going to pull. I'm going to basically run the Ice Golem dungeon with that and see how far up we can push. Got about another day left on this, so if we can push up here into the top 5, maybe take a crack at getting one of these Relentless sets. At the very worst, I'm hoping we can get some gems or even this energy, which we can then use again to further grind for gear and other things in the game. So keep an eye out for the Ice Golem tournaments, keep an eye out for the Fire Knight tournaments if you have the champions to actually do those dungeons. Those are actually really good ones to do because no one else usually does them, and it's very easy to finish in the top 5 or the top 10 to get those prizes. Now when these fusion events come around, there's most likely going to be a champion chase tournament. There'll probably be a summon rush tournament too. On a free-to-play account, if you're saving up your shards for those 2x events, if the fusion doesn't coincide with a 2x event, I would not suggest pulling your shards if you're on a free-to-play or low spend, because chances are you're not going to get enough to actually make a difference to get anything out of the champion chase or the summon event. So you're just going to wind up wasting those shards that you could have pulled during a 2x and maybe gotten a really good champion out of it. So that is one thing I would caution if you're planning on going into these fusion events and working on some of these tournaments. But basically it's just a very, it's a good opportunity to get some extra resources to keep building up your account. You don't really want to chase after fusion champions, in my opinion, if you're on a free-to-play, because quite honestly, you don't have the time and you usually don't have the resources to try to build them up. It's kind of like on my account now. I've got a pretty core, solid group of champions that I'm working on. Now, it would have been pretty cool to get Iron Brago. He's a pretty awesome champion, and he was the fragment summon that just happened a little bit ago. But honestly, on my account, if I had pulled him, it's like that's another legendary. That's another champion I have to get to level 50. It's another champion I have to make food for in order to get to 6 stars. I probably don't have the gear that I would be able to use to make him any good. Now, would it be nice to have him on the account to build later? Sure. But if you're an early game or mid game player, especially if you're on a free-to-play with limited resources, you're just simply never going to have the opportunity really to work on those champions. And that's kind of what you have to keep in mind anytime. Like, for example, if you are pulling shards and you get some decent epic champions, are you actually going to ever be able to use those champions on your account? That's one of the reasons when I'm free to play, I actually, at times, will feed epics. A lot of people say, keep all the epics you pull, put them in your vault. My thing is, if you have limited resources, limited time, if I get a bad epic that's a 4-star champion, to me, that's more valuable to me as a 4-star chicken on my account. That's going to help me progress the champions that I want to build. The chances are they're never going to come back and buff those bad epic champions. There's so many champions in the game now, so many new champions being pushed out. So actually, what I'll do a lot of the times is I'll feed that epic champion, because personally, and again, this is me, this is what I do. It doesn't mean you guys have to do this, but I am not going to waste time or resources or gear on those bad epic champions. I'm not going to sit here and wait for Plarium to maybe come along and buff them. It's simply going to help me progress faster, and I'm going to use that to actually level up a 4-star champion that I actually want to use in the game and eventually bring up to be able to use in later game content. So again, just keep all that in mind, but definitely when these fusion events come along, do your best to get in here and do the dungeons the tournaments are focused on. Just try to pick up this extra silver, get this extra energy, get these charms, get whatever you can, XP brews. All of it helps if you're on a free-to-play account or a low-spend account. The more resources you can gather, the better. And then don't necessarily be worried about using that energy then to push the fusion. Use that energy to go into the dungeons the tournaments are focused on. Try to grind for some gear, sell the gear you don't use, get some silver, build up your silver, build up your gear on your account, And don't necessarily worry too much about the Fusion if you can't get it, because chances are if you did get that Fusion Legendary, you're not going to have the resources to build them anyways, and they're probably not going to help your account without the good gear and without the ascending, without all the other stuff that goes into actually building them. So that's just kind of wanted to talk about today, just kind of a quick video. I'm not going to sit here and lecture too long on it, but just kind of give my thoughts. Since there is a Fusion event coming up next week, I wanted to kind of put this out for you guys to kind of digest, and also, give me some feedback. Let me know what you think about these events. Are you going to be taking part in the Fusion next week for the new Legendary Champion? Or are you going to just do what I do on my free-to-play account and try to get whatever you can out of the Fusion events and tournaments, and then use that to further progress the actual champions you already have on your account? Anyways, guys, let me know how you feel about that. As always, I hope you guys are having a great day. Thanks as always for watching, and I'll see you again next time.